Game number 34 of the IPL between Rajasthan Royals and Delhi Capitals, and you are watching the Sports Today match report with me, Nikhil, in which I try and tell you the entire story of the match in 5 very crucial points. So point number 1 will definitely be the man of the match in Jos Buttler. He's got his third 100 this IPL. 116 is what he got, and that is what took Rajasthan Royals to 222, the highest score in this IPL season. 116, as I mentioned, for Jos Buttler. But did you know, out of the 222 that Rajasthan got, 168 runs came of either 4s or 6s. So that's how dominant the Rajasthan batting was. Now it seems like Jos Buttler is primed to go ahead of Virat Kohli as the highest ever run scorer in one season of the IPL. That record is with Virat. He got it in 2016 at 973, and Jos Buttler, that time Virat got 400. Jos already has 3 and is well on course to breaking that record. So that was point number 1. Point number 2, chasing that total, the Delhi team did lose their openers rather early, or I'd say relatively early, because chasing such a big total, you wanted a big knock from the likes of David Warner and Prithvi Shaw. That didn't happen, but was that one over by Riyan Parag in which he gave away 22 runs, Rishabh Pant getting a lot of runs off him. That is what set Delhi onto the chase. So even 222 started to look like Delhi would chase that down. Then that takes me to point number 3, and that was the penultimate over. It all boiled down to 36 needed of 2 overs, and you know that is par for course in the IPL. But Prasidh Krishna, who has sometimes been expensive in the death, actually bowled a wicket made in the 19th over, and from there on the situation became very tough. 36 needed of the last over. Then Roman Powell smashes, and this is our point number 4. Roman Powell smashes 3 sixes in the first 3 balls. Now needed 3 sixes to win this game, and that would have been sensational, hitting 6 sixes. But you know what happened on the 4th ball? There was a no ball by Obed McCoy, who was bowling. It was above the waist of Roman Powell, but the umpire did not call it a no ball for being above the waist. That enriched the entire Delhi camp, and Rishabh Pant was very animated. He in fact wanted his players to come off as a revolt, or as someone who didn't see that the right decision was taken. So he was calling the players off, and the players, even though reluctant at the time, Roman Powell and Kuldeep Yadav were walking off. There was a lot of animated conversation. Yuzi Chahal came to Kuldeep Yadav, said, "No, how can you walk off? You need to playing." There were a few people in the dugout that were telling Rishabh, "Don't take this decision." But then Rishabh was adamant. He wanted his players off because they wanted that decision to go to the third umpire. The umpires who had actually made a mistake on the field were not referring it to the third umpire. Now the law says that actually if it was out, they would have referred it to the third umpire, but because it wasn't out, the on-field umpire weren't referring it to the third umpire. But you know, there are a lot of suggestions. One suggestion was that if there are some referrals left and you can take the use of technology for other decisions like leg before and what have you, then why can't the captain actually take that DRS option and ask the on-field umpire to go to the third umpire? But the umpires on the field, Nitin Menon, who was one of India's outstanding umpires, was one of them. He didn't go to the third umpire. That no ball wasn't given. What could have happened? Now remember, people might say after that Delhi couldn't chase it down. What might have happened, that remember, had that no ball been given, then it would have boiled down to 17 runs needed of 4 balls, because an extra ball would have come, 1 would have been free hit. You would have got the chance. What was worse? Actually, Obed McCoy had already bowled 1 higher than waist full toss. If this was counted, then he'd have to be technically taken off the bowling. What that would have resulted in is actually getting someone else to bowl the remaining balls. That could have then helped Delhi win the game. So that no ball, or the no ball that wasn't given, became very, very crucial. But in the end, luckily, the players didn't go off. The match continued. Had the players come off, Rishabh Pant would have had to face a big ban. you had the assistant coach, which Rishabh Pant actually sent Praveen Ambre, go to the field and speak to the umpire. He did that. Maybe some action could still be taken, because if you remember, MS Dhoni had walked onto the field in 2019. No action was taken against MS Dhoni, but Praveen Ambre is no MS Dhoni. In the end of the game, Rishabh Pant himself accepted that it was a wrong call for him to be calling his players back, or it was a wrong call even for Praveen Ambre to have walked onto the field, but he maintained that that was a no ball that wasn't given. So that debate will enrage. But our point number 5 of the game is, and I think that is where Delhi, while Delhi will keep looking at this no ball, I think where Delhi also lost the game is sending Roman Powell, who's a regular batsman, who sometimes bats at number 4 for his national team as well. You sent him at number 8 to bat. I think that is where they made a massive mistake, sending people like Akshar Patel or Lalit Yadav or Shardul Thakur ahead of a regular batsman. I think Delhi made a big blunder doing that as well. Yes, people might say that Roman wasn't in form. Well, if that was the case, then maybe you shouldn't have had him in the 11. If you had him in the 11, you should have sent him higher up. So all of these things put together give you an idea of how the match panned out. For more such content, don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today, both on YouTube as well as Facebook.